Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again with your third and final video blog of the night for Thursday, July 10th, 2014, around 8:30 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun's going down, and it's going to be kind of a cool night tonight, and back again with perfect summertime weather. Some sports news to report. The Red Sox beat the White Sox by the score of 4-3 to split the four-game series. The final roster spots of the Major League Baseball All-Star team has been set. White Sox pitcher Chris Sale was voted in as the American League's final spot, and Chicago Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo gets the final spot in the National League. The All-Star game is this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. in Target Field in Minnesota on Fox with Joe Buck, Hal Reynolds, Tom Bertucci, and Ellen Andrews calling the action. And also, if anybody's going to travel to Martha's Vineyard this August, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, and his family will be vacationing there this year. Whoopee. Good. Well, my third and final video blog of the night is about a personality profile who was one of the most famous people in entertainment of all time for over 50 years. He was famous, and he was kind of the world's oldest teenager. I'm talking about Dick Clark. Dick Clark had a career that spanned from the 1950s through the 2000s, and he's famous for hosting American Bandstand on ABC for so many years. American Bandstand started as a local show in Philadelphia back in the early 50s, and Dick Clark hosted it, and then eventually it became national on ABC around 1958, and Dick Clark hosted it when it went national on ABC, and in the mid-60s it moved to Hollywood, and then that's how Dick Clark started to get into other stuff like producing shows and hosting game shows and stuff like that. And Dick Clark hosted his own radio show for many years, and it became so popular back in in 1966. Dick Clark he was Perry Mason's final client for the show Perry Mason, and in the 1970s Dick Clark continued hosting American Bandstand on ABC and producing a lot of award shows like the American Country Music Awards, the American Music Awards, the Daytime Emmys, and other stuff. And also in 1973, Dick Clark started to host the $10,000 Pyramid on CBS, and then it eventually became the $20,000 Pyramid on ABC, the $25,000 Pyramid on CBS, $50,000 Pyramid in syndication, and the $100,000 Pyramid in syndication. He hosted the Pyramid series on and off for about 15 years, and in the 1980s, he became one of the only people to ever host a show on the then three big networks. ABC, he hosts and produces American Bandstand. He hosted a $25,000 Pyramid on CBS, and on NBC he hosted TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes with Ed McMahon, which was a very funny series. They showed bloopers of television shows, movies, and amateur stuff, and also they had a practical joke on a famous celebrity that ran for several years. Very, very funny show. I caught some of the reruns on Comedy Central back in the early 90s when they were just starting, and then in 1989 Dick Clark ended hosting American Bandstand, and when it went to the USA Network, and then in the 90s he started to produce more and more, so he took a back seat to host television shows. And in 1994 he was diagnosed with diabetes, and he became a spokesperson for the disease. He kept the diabetes under control, and he continued to work on producing more shows and appearing on television from time to time. And then in 2004, Dick Clark suffered a debilitating stroke that left him basically not paralyzed, in very bad shape. He couldn't talk and stuff like that. And then he that caused him to miss the first time in 32 years watching Eve, the New Year's on ABC. And what's his name? Regis Philbin had a fill in for him for that year. And when he came back in 2005 to host Rockin' Eve, he was assisted by Ryan Seacrest, and every year he continued to host, but it got very deteriorating with him seeing him on television with like the stroke and stuff, and he could barely talk. He had a lot of guts doing it, and it's an amazing thing. He got a lot of courage, but every year he got deteriorated, and some people didn't really like him on there being in the state he was, but being basically not looking good. But that's a courage to him. I give him that. And he kept his good looks for so many years. With this quote, he said this quote, "Choose your parents wisely." He said that in a book years ago. And in 2012, Dick Clark passed away at the age of 83, which was a very big blow to the entertainment business. And Dick Clark's legacy is now won by Ryan Seacrest, who's basically hosts a lot of shows, produces a lot of shows, and hosts his own radio show. He's the new Dick Clark of the generation, and I think Dick Clark is probably the best entertainer host there ever was, and there's never going to be another one like him, no matter what Ryan Seacrest is. And that's about it for tonight. I'm getting more and more positive feedback on these video blogs and stuff. And if there's any subject you want to hear, just PM me, and I'm more than glad to talk about it, except if it's politics or personal stuff or anything else. And also, if there's special shout-outs to you want me to say, I'll say it to you. And that's about it. This is Rich signing off for the night. Good night, everybody. And tomorrow will be at least 3 to 6 more blogs. Some of the future video blog subjects will be this is WHLO TV 27 serving Central New England, Headbangers, the tag team, Gordon Soley, the Dean of Wrestling Announcers, going to return to my Hall of Fame series. Probably the next subject will be is pitcher Tommy John, a baseball Hall of Famer, plus Julie Broughton of Local News 6 is probably going to get her own video blog subject. And we're also going to have video blog subjects of classic television shows like Cannon, The Twilight Zone, Vegas, Barnaby Jones, Charlie's Angels, Policewoman, and the game shows like Tic-Tac-Toe and Bullseye and Play This Percentage and Card Sharks, and Now You See in Blockbusters, and so many more subjects. And you'll make these Hooter Girl stories from the past and this and that, and want to put a wager on that. Could be a subject, you never know, or you write in a book, could be a subject. You never know what's going to happen. So this is Rich signing off for the night. Good night, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. I'll be back tomorrow.